It was but a single instant, yet 5 elites of Element Gathering tier were all killed. Such was the might of the red-scaled dragon snake. The young man was so scared that his face had turned completely white and his whole body started shaking. He was not a genius of martial arts, and such a bloody scene caused him to almost throw up his bile. This caused Liu Dong and the others to break out into uncontrollable laughter. Compared with him, Liu Dong and his group were frequent visitors of various perilous and hazardous areas. There was a considerable number of martial artists and demonic beasts that have died by their hands. When the young man heard their mocking laughter, his face twisted, and pointing at them, he asked, "You dare to laugh at me? What about it?" "Heng, since my servants have all died, then you guys will be responsible for hauling this great serpent back for me," the young man commanded. Liu Dong and the others exchanged looks, wondering if there was something wrong with this guy's head. "How dare you? I am the third young master of the Feng clan of Dayuan City, Feng Luo, and my elder brother is Feng Yan, a true disciple of the Huyang Academy," the young man screamed. "Feng clan!" Liu Dong and his group revealed expressions of dread. While they were all members of the younger generation of the great clans of Guo Rocktown, how could they be compared with the great clans of Dayuan City? These great clans all had powerful warriors of Gushing Spring tier to watch over the clan, and were definitely no weaker than the Stone Wolf sect. Moreover, the elder brother of this Feng Luo was actually a true disciple of Huyang Academy, and that was really a terrifying fact. Huyang Academy was the assembly point of all the young geniuses of Rain Country, and the top 100 disciples all had a high chance of becoming powerful warriors of the Spiritual Ocean tier. Not to mention, what were true disciples? True disciples were the top 30 disciples of the Academy. In their case, cultivating up to Spiritual Ocean tier was practically guaranteed. To oppose someone who would become a powerful warrior of the Spiritual Ocean tier in future, who on Earth would not feel fear in this kind of situation? "Is this Feng Yan very powerful?" Ling Han turned to Liu Yutong and asked. "Very powerful." Liu Yutong nodded, her beautiful face revealing a serious expression. "I heard that Feng Yan just broke through to Gushing Spring tier 3 years ago, and he was 20 years old at the time. Now he is already at the peak period of the 3rd layer of Gushing Spring tier, and chances are high that he would advance further in a very short period of time. Additionally, he's already succeeded in forming Saber Qi, and though it's unknown how many flashes he can form, it's definitely not less than 3 flashes. That was a shocking rate of progress. For an ordinary martial artist in Gushing Spring tier, it was already a very impressive feat to be able to advance 1 layer within 5 years. There were some that have spent 10 years and only managed to reach the next period, and for them, they would never be able to breach the high fence surrounding the 4th layer in their whole lives. Before a martial artist reached Flower Blossom tier, he would only have a lifespan of 100 years. As a result, if he wasted too much time on such a low-level tier like Gushing Spring tier, then his future prospects would naturally be limited. Feng Yan spent 3 years and managed to break through by 3 layers. If he maintained this kind of progression rate, then he'd be able to break through to Spiritual Ocean tier by the time he's over 30 years old, and possibly by the time he's 60 or 70 years old, he may even be able to advance 1 step further and break through to Spiritual Pedestal tier. At that moment, he deserved to be praised as a royal existence of Rain Country. Because the strongest warriors in Rain Country publicly known were only in Spiritual Pedestal tier, though there were rumors that there was an ancient freak who was even stronger and was the overseer of Rain Country who kept the country from falling. With such a calculation, Feng Yan's potential for greatness could be imagined. No wonder Feng Luo was so arrogant. "Oh," Ling Han casually replied. He naturally did not think of Feng Yan as any kind of serious threat. He patted Liu Yutong's shoulder, smiled and said, "I guarantee that you will become stronger than him." Liu Yutong nodded. She had full confidence in Ling Han, and in herself. The cultivation technique she was practicing now was a heaven-grade cultivation technique, and together with her high-level heaven-grade spirit base, she did not lose to anyone in terms of inborn circumstances. Of course, There was no way she could compare to a freak like Ling Han. She did not know that there was still such a thing as a mortal-grade spirit base in this world, and had no idea that Ling Han was actually an alchemy emperor. By his side, she could completely become a pill bottle, relax in comfort, and watch as her cultivation level kept climbing. "Did you hear what I said? Quickly haul this red-scaled dragon snake back for me," Feng Luo said, extremely pleased with himself. Based on his past experience, as long as he announced his elder brother's name, the other party would immediately become very obedient. Ling Han shook his head and said, "I despise people like you the most." He strode towards Feng Luo. "Big brother Ling, don't be too rash," Liu Dong and his group quickly said. They were really scared that Ling Han would do something like what he had done previously and go on a murderous rampage. "Don't worry, I just want to give him a good thrashing," Ling Han said with a smile. After all, Feng Luo only wanted to snatch their possession and had no intention of killing anyone or any other kind of dirty thoughts. Otherwise, Ling Han would definitely not be merciful. You dare!" Feng Luo could not help stepping back. Although they shared the same mother, Feng Yan was a genius of martial arts, while he himself did not have any particularly significant talent in this field. It was as if all the essence had been absorbed by Feng Yan. Feng Luo himself was now only in the 9th layer of body refining tier, and this cultivation level was likely thanks to medicinal pills he had taken. However, he still had not managed to advance further. After all, green spiritual fruits were quite rare. "So what if I dare?" Ling Han raised his leg and kicked him. Feng Luo started to howl terribly, and after Ling Han gave him a few good kicks, Feng Luo's nose was bloody and his face was swollen. If he saw his own reflection in a mirror, he probably wouldn't recognize himself anymore. He did not even dare to leave any fierce words. He simply fled with his tail behind his legs. Ling Han split open the red-scaled dragon snake and carved out its roughly fist-sized inner core. It was as red as fiery flames. Liu Dong and his group, out of curiosity, all gathered and reached out to touch it, but once their hands came into contact with it, their expressions changed and they quickly retreated, gasping for breath. Only Li Hao did not retreat, but he had also immediately withdrawn his hand as if he had been electrified. The red-scaled dragon snake possesses a thread of dragon blood and can claim to be a king of a tier. It is well capable of suppressing martial artists and demonic beasts of the same cultivation level. Only those who have managed to form qi can resist it, Ling Han explained. If it had not been for this, then Liu Yutong, who had also been in the 9th layer of element gathering tier, wouldn't be completely at a disadvantage in a head-on clash with the red-scaled dragon snake. It was all because she was suffering under this suppression. But if she and the great serpent battled once more now, Liu Yutong definitely would not have been in such dire straits. This was because she had now managed to form sword qi and thus possessed the preliminary qualifications to battle the great serpent on an even footing. There were rulers of demonic beasts, and there were also rulers of human martial artists. As long as one managed to form qi, they could be considered to have begun their journey on the path towards being a tier's ruler. However, only those who have managed to form heart could proclaim themselves rulers. You guys remove the backbone of this snake. Technically, it can also be considered dragon's bones. The spinal cord is very effective in refining one's physique. Ling Han delegated the tasks to Liu Dong and his group, while he and Liu Yutong once again entered the cavern. He still had to pluck the earth dragon grass, after all. Liu Dong and his group were all very excited. A strong physique meant that defense would also be upgraded. This was a real, solid benefit. They immediately started working in high spirits. Ling Han and Liu Yutong entered the cavern and advanced through the hidden passage. The environment here was very damp, and because the red-scaled dragon snake had been residing here for a very long time, there was a very powerful stench of blood hovering in the air. Thankfully, the passage was not very long, and very quickly, a gigantic cave appeared in a distance ahead. Found it. Ling Han found only one plant in the middle of the cave. The plant only had a single stem, completely without any branches or leaves. The stem was not straight. Instead, it wound and twisted, seeming like a divine dragon that was craning its neck in expectation of soaring towards the heavens. Earth dragon grass.